Good afternoon, boys and girls. This video was not actually sponsored by Monster, though we sponsor it.
And we drink the hell out of it. That's what we do.
Please drink responsibly.
Exactly. Let's not pull a Ray, okay? Let's not pull a Ray.
24 or so in 12 hours.
Not even.
He downed one case.
No, he did more than that. He had 24 of that in 3 hours. Something like that. Anyway.
Like we said, please drink responsibly.
Yeah. And it wasn't Monster, it was Red Bull.
Red Bull kills.
Yeah, I don't know how you freaking drink that mess. Anyway.
Well, hey, he must have been into bull sperm.
Oh, God. Alright, we're going to move along. We're going to get away from that mess. Okay, it's been a while since we've done an update. As you can see, the tractor is apart. Well, if the cameraman, aka my knuckleheaded friend, will stop playing with the camera and turn around and have a look at the table, that was the last transmission that come out of there. We had catastrophic case failure due to an exploding bull gear.
Mind you, that gear that my finger is pointed to is what should be there.
Yeah, and it's not, and I broke it, and it's the same problem that these transmissions have when they're put under extreme stress, like pulling. Well, this one is not the same. I've rebuilt this transmission. It's similar to the one I have next to me. The difference being is, if my buddy will hand me that shaft right there.
Any other busted?
No, not that one. The other one.
The other busted shaft.
This right here is the bull gear out of the bigger and wider body styles. You can actually sometimes find these. I believe these come in the 633 Alpha 110 types. And as you can see, instead of four, it has 6 holes. Well, I've taken one of these with a better backing plate than the one that was on this one, and put it all back together with the weldless lock in the center of it, which is basically one of these gears centered here and on the other axle, crammed all together. And I put it in this transmission, which had the one that he was picking up first. I'm going to hand this back to him. Pick you up, shit. That's the one that came out of it. That's the one that was broken. And as you can see, it has broke 2 opposite corners, and it broke the backing plate, which is famous on how they break. There's not a lot of metal in there. They used a rectangle. It wasn't the greatest design. This, however, the one in here is a much better design. Is a full circle on both sides. Weldless lock. I'm actually, as you can see, all this nice heavy 3/4 inch plate I'm putting in. It's not really plate steel, it's more like a bar, but I'm actually making a brace for pillow block bearings. I actually have one in here on the other side with the tire, with the tire put on. Not 100% sure if you can get in there and see it too well. Maybe if the camera adjusts.
There you can kind of see it.
And basically, this design is based off an idea from another YouTuber called, I'm probably going to nuke this name out, Pacific Drumma. And he used 3/8 plate steel. I didn't have enough 3/8 plate steel to do this. However, I was able to get this metal off of a friend of mine, and
it's 3/4 inch.
It's 3/4 inch thick, and it's much heavier. And
3/4 inch high carbon, very dense steel.
Yeah, it took me about an hour to cut this. It took me about an hour to get the saw to cut this stuff, and I got it all welded up in the shape that I wanted it in, and I measured it out. And even with these big tires, the offset on the rims allows for plenty of clearance. There's nothing rubbing. All I got to do now is bolt these 2 in. I need another pillow block for this side so that I can finish the hub piece. I believe it's on the table. Yep, there it is. That is the new hubs I'm using instead of the older hubs. If you wouldn't mind grabbing one of the older hubs. It's right there. Yeah.
Didn't you have a busted one up here?
Yeah, okay. Those are still on that other transmission. These are the hubs that were on it. I am no longer going to use these. Not that there's anything wrong with these. I'm going to use these. A couple reasons behind it. One, I can get a pillow block bearing to fit this. Two, these are steel. These are actually steel. These aren't. These are actually aluminum. And I have yet to well, I can't say I haven't broke one, because I did yesterday trying to get the damn thing off.
Didn't you break both of them?
No, I just broke 2 chunks out of it. But these in particular I've never broken on the field. But I'm going to be using these steel ones because of the actual shaft here. I can put a pillow block bearing on, and then this whole assembly will slide on here, and the pillow block will sit right about here on the end of it, so that it's butted here, so it doesn't need a lock collar. And it'll bolt here, and I'm going to engineer something for up front for them to bolt to. I have to figure it out. It's perplexing me. Pacific Drama, from what I can see in his video, he only put a piece of 3/8 angle between the 2 pillow blocks, which to me it's missing something. I would have thought it would have been attached somehow, some way to the chassis. I will figure it out. That's for sure. But in the meantime, I've been getting this thing ready for the season. With this is the newest. This will be the first time I've ever locked a transmission, and it will be the first time ever pulling with a locked transmission. I've got this one over here I'm going to rebuild. It won't be locked because I do not have enough gears to lock the second one. However, I do have enough to put the bigger planetary in this one, which will make it a bit heavier and as a backup. I'm putting all this in though to prevent everything I can think of that would make these transmissions break. See, they're aluminum cased, and it's not like billet aluminum. They're not very strong cases. They can break, as you can see. So what breaks them is, and what breaks the bull gears setups in general, is when you're pulling, you're putting a lot of stress on these 2 axles, since it's not one shaft piece, and they're trying to, the centers themselves are trying to go forward, whereas the axles on the outside are trying to come backwards, and that's what breaks them.
Effectively, the whole thing's trying to buckle.
Yes, because there's no center. Now with the weldless lock in there, that stiffened it up big time. However, I'm putting in these extra bits because added precaution.
Getting tired of breaking transmissions.
Yes, I'm trying to make it so that the transmission won't break. I'd rather, go from there.
And yes, we've got a bucket.
Full of parts.
After a bucket.
Full of
one bucket we can't cram any more parts into.
Yeah.
So just sit that there.
It's good to have spare parts. The neat thing is, I had a couple of wide body transmissions. Their cases are over there. They have been gutted. I have robbed every part I can think of out of them.
Fine. Fine.
There's a few random bits that are still left there. I'll eventually get them out. Nothing big there. When we're done with this one, we're going to turn our attention to my buddy's John Deere. It's like, I'm going to say, at least 50% of the way done. I need to do some minor detailing to the top. The header's already made. It's just, I need to reattach everything. What?
Unplug that.
Oh, hang on.
Brief intermission, boys and girls.
Yeah. And covered in wood chips.
Oh, more than wood chips. Let's see, there's a half of a 63 Spitfire header.
That's the header I made for you. Let's not make fun of it.
Hey, I'm not making fun of it. It came off of a 63 Spitfire.
A portion of it did, not all of it, but it does work.
And, of course, boys and girls, the engines I prefer to use only Onan, or as some people prefer to put it, Onan.
Well, his Onan, or Onan, as we all us simpletons like to say,
It's made out of...
going to be going against the mighty M18 Kohler. It does not fold up good.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay,
duh.
if you want an example, just look at the other motor on the corner there. That's pretty much what mine looks like, minus a cylinder head. And
Still opposed twin, just like mine.
And I've got the carburetor for his, I've got the manifold for his, just need to put it back together. Wire it up correctly. I had to fix a lot of mistakes in that thing. And
That was my first Onan motor.
and
Went through a second one, unfortunately a failed rebuild project. Along with number 3, failed rebuild project. And number 4 is down there.
Yes, he's got a second one over there.
It's a yellow 16 horse. Unlike this one's a black 20 performance 20 horse.
We run it in a 16 because it has no markings, because we don't care.
That and the bulk majority of the time it actually did have a 16 horse carburetor on it.
Yes. Until I actually pulled that carburetor, discovered how much of crap it was, and put an actual carburetor that was worth a damn on it, and it started up and idled, and he walked out and said, "What did you do?" "It's idling, like normal." I said, I told you should have left it with me for 5 minutes.
I'm hard-headed. What do you expect?
Yes, but I had borrowed that motor. When I did that, I had borrowed the motor for, at the time when I didn't have the motor I have now, for the Nationals, and put that carburetor on it. And it likes that carburetor, so I'm going to put that carburetor back on it, and I'm going to do some cleaning up on it. It's going to be right when it's all said and done. We got to get a fuel pump for it, but other than that, it's almost ready to go. This one's going to be ready to go. They're both going to be ready to go this season. And
by the way, boys and girls, if anyone happens to have an older cast iron CCK model, I would be happy to relieve it of you.
Provided it has a straight shaft, not a tapered shaft. Difference being, one come off of a welder. If it comes off a welder, you can't use it.
Hey, if it comes off of a welder, I still want it.
Yeah, you use it for something. Unless you get a tapered pulley center, which is interesting enough.
2-piece.
Mm-hmm.
Works just the same as a tapered shaft. Right there. But except you don't have to have a tapered shaft.
Here's something I've come across that is actually unique, and we hardly ever sit down and just chat. The transmission that's actually sitting on that table, not the one that's broken, but the other one, has, yes, it's a little green and yellow one with the stick sticking up.
The transmission that's actually mostly in one piece over here.
It's still in one piece. I've yet to open that one up. It has
internally
a factory 5/8 pulley, which I've never seen before. Most of them usually use a half-inch wide pulley. It has a 5/8 inch wide 6-inch transmission pulley. So I know when and if I need to change this one, I have a spare. And another thing we're going to need to do to yours is this guy right here. A lot of people, specifically, a lot of people don't know, this isn't really a regulation for me or for him, because we're bone stock tractors, but I have it. It's what it is. It's an emergency kill. If you break the chain on the sled, there's another chain, a little chain, that's attached to this, and when this pulls out, your tractor dies. It's to prevent runaways. I don't have that. I wouldn't have that problem. My tractor isn't that fast anyway. However, the people who run Cubs would have that problem. Okay, they can't pulley it down. They have drive shafts, and they're a 1-to-1 ratio. So when it comes down from motor to trans, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. However, from my motor to trans, it's a 2-to-1 ratio, which means my motor will spin 2 times before my transmission spins 1. Simple. Freaking all it does is just when it yanks, it grounds the motor out. I'm going to do the same thing to his. Difference being, his actually has a positive ignition system, whereas mine has a magneto. I do have my old.
And yes, boys and girls, that means mine does have points and coil. Oddly enough, it uses 1950s Chevrolet points. So I can go to Advance, AutoZone, and O'Reilly and get points for it.
And I have my old Kill, the one I had on there beforehand, which looks like a plug, but we can use it for yours. It's over there somewhere.
Effectively, all you would do is from the battery, which would be under the seat, you'd run a wire to it, and then to the ignition coil. It gets pulled, it takes power away from the ignition coil. No sparky, no bang, bang, bang.
Pretty much.
Me personally, I would probably use a secondary switch on the dash to bypass that, so that once everything's all said and done, I don't have to scramble looking for it. I just flip the switch and find it at my leisure, or replace it.
Well, you wouldn't have to look for it or replace it, because it'd be still plugged into your freaking tractor. It won't ever come out unless it gets yanked.
Yeah. All it takes is also somebody, oh, I don't want him to win. Yank.
No, see, if that were to happen on the track, let's just put it this way: for those who pull, right, we know, those of us who pull. And want to have good time, and we're fair, and we want to get, even if people are having trouble, we always try and help people out. Okay, I don't know how many times I've been asked, do I have my welder on hand, because somebody has broken something and they need me to weld it back together. Those people who cheat, those people who like to try and sabotage other people's tractors.
It's happened to us before.
Because they know they can't win. I've lost an engine because of that. I've lost...
Burned up an Onan. Because someone opened up the oil drain, drained it up, and burned it up.
That was a Briggs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they emptied out the oil from my engine, and I threw a rod. Or for those who are sore losers because they lost the round, and they tell the guy in the sled that he needs to change the gear because you shouldn't have been able to pull it that far, right? Because he's a sore loser and didn't pull it that far. I've installed a fan. I'm never ever going to make me pull consecutive back-to-back ever again, because overheating an air-cooled engine, they really don't make power after that. It's hard enough for them to make power to start with. But those who cheat should really not pull. If you're going to come out there and try and sabotage other people's stuff, don't. Okay? That's a surefire way to get your ass kicked.
And for us prior military, there's a difference between if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, and just going out to have fun. And those of us that are prior GSMs, gas turbine technician mechanical, we prefer, or at least I prefer, shake it, bake it, and run it dry, and get your ass to the as far down as you can.
He has yet to beat me, or come close to my record.
To be fair, I've only pulled 3 times.
Yeah, we'll get that right.
My first pull on this motor, I forgot to turn on the fuel pump.
Which
I only went
hilarious.
25 feet.
Did you forget to turn on the fuel pump?
Oh,
Fuck.
yeah. There's a first for everyone.
Yeah.
So long as
it was a learning curve for him, but it was funny as shit.
And this monkey motherfucker, Lieutenant Asshole, was not the only one laughing. 3 other guys were all laughing. And I know I heard from Mr. Peanut Gallery, dumbass!
Yep. Anyway, there are lots of projects in the work. We will eventually be rebuilding that monster I built a while back with the 4-cylinder. It's sitting over there.
Out of an old 72 Ford Pinto, blueprinted ceramic rings.
It's going to be, we're going to make it a complete tube chassis. I'm going to put a transmission in it and everything. But basically, we've got a lot of projects, so that one's on the back burner for now. My goal is to get this done and back on its tires. I got the other one right here. Basically to get ready for this season, and hopefully all the stupid things that have been happening to us, me especially, stop happening and stuff starts going good for us. As it were. Anyway, I guess, you know, all I can, you know, ask is that people like, subscribe, you know, leave comments.
You're not being forced. It's not like we got a gun to your head.
Nope. But we appreciate it, and we like chatting with people. You know, if in the event you want to get up with us, you know, you can send me a message via
YouTube, Facebook,
or you can find me on Facebook. When I post this, probably later tonight, you know, we're just doing what we can with what we've got and trying to make it better. And as it says on my hood, powered by genuine junkyard parts and fueled by haters.
and also, for those that care, in loving memory of Wayne Marshall, who drove Mama's Money. Born 44, died unfortunately 2017.
Not the driver. That was the father.
Well,
that was
he pulled
the
too,
husband
didn't he?
to Mama.
He pulled too, didn't he?
I don't think, no, his son drives it.
Ah.
But yes, in loving memory of him, who's been one of the, you know, he's been around for a long time. So, in closing, we have a lot of projects to do, but we will get them done in time. And hopefully we'll get some pulls in this year. I'm gonna go and try and break my record again and go further.
And beat Zeke again.
Yes. I don't care if I win the class. Just beating Zeke one more time, just to piss him off.
Playful, mind you, boys and girls, playfully.
Look. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, there's nothing like nothing like going to a track and shit talking, because why? Why not?
It's fun.
It's all kinds of fun. I'll tell you what, though, we will be breaking back out. I will try and find a cooler for the nose of my newest addition, which is the squirrel cage in front of the tractor there. That squirrel cage is a 115 model, as opposed to the one I have over there in the corner, which is just a 220 model, and my generator runs that one with like it's nothing. So I'm going to get my little air conditioner box, which is buried back there. It's that big black and white cooler. I'm going to get some kind of a condenser coil for the front of it. I'm going to mount to the front of it. And basically what it does is we fill the box with ice packs and possibly some ice and water.
Drinks.
Maybe, unless I use the other cooler for the drinks. And then it has a little pump inside, a little fountain pump that pumps the water, the cold water, through coils, and we turn that on and it blows cold ass air. And
believe it or not,
when it's 90 degrees out, getting 30 degree or near freezing degree water, and having 60 degree air blowing on you the entire time, you tend to sit in comfort. So
His wife took back her words very grudgingly
When I
because it
made
kept
the
her
ori-
ass cool.
When I made the original design, which is
Somewhere.
floating around in here somewhere. Actually, I think it's on the other side of your tractor right there. The fan for it, anyways. Careful.
There it is.
Okay, that fan has a little coil on the pump. The pump I was using at the time was free. I've since upgraded, but it was a small pump, and I pumped it around week else. Now, my wife told me that it was a waste of money.
A waste of time,
A waste
and
of-
it would never work.
Exactly. And
She did not complain once.
At the Fossil Fest of last year, I believe it was the Fossil. It was yeah, I think it was last year. She ate them words. She ate them words. It was 90 something degrees out, and she had 70-degree air blowing on her.
All day.
Yep. And she sat in comfort all day.
We
And I
try.
got so many people come up and complimented that thing, and they were like, "Now that's cool." And yeah, so
Some people would say redneck ingenuity. The rest of us say
awesome.
necessity is the mother of all invention.
Exactly. That wasn't the only thing that was tickled my fancy while I was there. After my first pull, there is a video of it. After my first pull, somebody walked up to me, put their arm around my shoulder, and said, "Do you want to sell it?" I looked right at him and said, "No." No, I don't want to sell it. I've put too much heart into it. And that's the truth. I have put too much heart into this thing to sell it. And when it comes down to it, I probably will never sell it. I will get it to where it is 100% like I can just take it and go and it'll never break. One day. One day. One day. One day maybe soon, it may not be. We never know. But once this is all said and done, luckily I have plenty of clearance, even though you look right here, this isn't all the way on. There it is. Now it is. Well, now it is. Needs a washer behind it. But other than that, it'll sit like right about there. You can see this bar here. Well, not to worry. The offsets on these tires sits closer here and sticks out. As you can see over here on this side, they tend to flare out quite a ways. Alright, come around and go to the front and stare at it. They tend to stick out quite a ways. And that's because the offset on the rims is way in there. But
Hello.
it also makes the tractor more stable because it makes a wider footprint. But I digress. Well, as it stands, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know, if you want to get up with us, if you wanted to chat. If you have questions, ask them. We will try our best to answer them. If there's things you want to see, let us know. We'll try and figure something out. Other than that, have a good day.
And don't forget, boys and girls, drink Monster responsibly.